Welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, Maddie Murphy. This week, the sky brings one of the hugest astrological shifts of the year, and it's going to ask you to commit to what is truly in your best and highest good, gain some celestial strength, and really make moves after what's in your best interest. And I'm going to get into all of that and more on what it means for you on today's episode of Cosmic RX Radio. But first, it's your girl, it's your high vibe hype woman, Maddie Murphy. If this is sounding a little ASMR, sweeties, it's because the babies are sleeping and mama doesn't want to wake them up. So enjoy this very ASMR episode of Cosmic RX Radio. And maybe it's good to be a little gentle because we have such a big shift this week that I want to guide you in with ease and grace. Yeah, I'm talking about Saturn, leather daddy planet, ruler of all things badassery, boss bitch energy, and boundaries, is moving into Aries, the very essence of the I am, our independent nature, the spirit, the archetypal fire behind us taking initiative to go there, to be the trailblazer of our own lives. And this is going to be massive. So if you are a Saturn in Aries baby, welcome. The end of this month brings the beginning of the first part of the first chapter of your Saturn return. If you're a Saturn in Pisces babies, congratulations. You got through the very heart, meat, and crux of your Saturn return. But again, I'm going to get into all that in a moment. First, just check in. How are we doing? How are we feeling? What are the vibes? Let me know if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know in the comments. I've been loving seeing like little interactive energy. If you're watching somewhere else, listening somewhere else, just tell me. Shout into the void. Let me know. Check in with yourself. How am I feeling? How's my heart doing? How's my body? Okay, we have a big episode, okay? There's lots of cosmic vibes happening. But first, speaking of Saturn in Aries, Virgo announcements, Saturn in Aries is going to be a huge time of us making those money moves, whether it's on the spirit plane, the earth plane, towards doing something that is in our best interest. And this Saturn in Aries has a very strong celestial signature for entrepreneurship, for getting to know your real self and then doing the damn thing, like making the appropriate moves to live in alignment with your highest self. Saturn in Aries is probably going to have a lot of you, cosmic baddies, people who are spiritually attuned, feeling called to do something a different way, to do something in more resonance with your highest truth. The doors to Cosmic Boss are open for a few more days. Yes, this is a plug, but in a way, again, that I hope is serving your highest good. Because here's the thing. We're going to be asked, each of us, to really understand our unique identity so we don't get caught in the tides, in the chaos, in the or the numbing that's happening in our collective right now. We want to stand really true, 10 toes down on who we are. But it's really hard to do that if we don't really know who we are. Cosmic Boss will guide you through how to work through literally every part of your chart and understand what it means in very real Virgo-licious terms. And it also will give you tools and strategies to grow or launch something. And this is it. This is the time where a lot of us are going to be asked to turn our passion into a purpose-driven business, into something that is of service, something that is helping ourselves and others. This is your moment. We kick off on May 21st, so don't forget. If that's something that's interested to you, get on in there, especially before Saturn moves into Aries. It's going to feel good. I promise you. If you are listening and you have your Saturn in Aries, we have a wait list below. We're going to be doing a live workshop that I do every time Saturn shifts signs. That's going to be the first part, an hour, just about what does Saturn in Aries mean, a deep dive, a look at it for all of us. What is our collective assignment, right? Whenever an outer planet shifts, it's like, wake up. This is a huge moment. And for Saturn, it's going to dictate a new path for all of us to go on in the next 30 years. And God, the way Saturn is working with these planets this time around, this is not the first time we've had Saturn in Aries in our lifetime. We had it obviously around 30 years ago, the Saturn cycle. Saturn was in Aries, but this is the first time in history that it's happening with Pluto in Aquarius, right? With Neptune in Aries, Uranus in Gemini, just a whole smorgasbord of huge, what do I want to say, just potent forces at play. So if you want to know what that means, sign up for the wait list. And then the second hour of the workshop is all about the Saturn return. So this is your Saturn return, what that means. And I will break down based on your sign, what's going on, what to expect, what's your lesson. So you could have that awareness so you can really work with Saturn instead of feeling like Saturn is working you over, AKA bending you over and giving you that celestial spank, which might happen either way, but at least we can enjoy it if we know what's going on and why it's happening. And then we could know better, we could do better, we could recognize those patterns and make Leather Daddy Saturn proud. Because something I'll say before we even get into the planetary planning is people get very scared of Saturn. People are very harsh on Saturn on the internet. But Saturn truly wants you to be your best self. It is like tough mother energy. It is a little bit of like drill sergeant energy. It's like that teacher who just believes in you so much they won't let you like sleep on your magic. That is Saturn. So when we're feeling like beat up by Saturn, it's not that we're doing something and we're not worthy of greatness. It's actually quite the opposite. It's like, bitch, you came here to be great, and I'm not going to let you sleep on yourself. I'm not going to let you waste all this potential. So, well, again, I have a whole separate workshop for that, but I will be giving you a little teaser of the Saturn and Aries vibes later in this episode. Last but not least, been loving our new incentive for reviews. If you haven't, leave a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify. Drop your Instagram handle in the review, and I'm going to pick one of you to receive a free mini reading every week where I'll slide in your DMs, or you can slide mine first if your name is called. And I will say, hey girl, hey dude, hey my beautiful mystical being, what's a burning question you have? What is a burning question around one thing in your life? You will send me your birth info and I'll give you a mini voice note reading in your DM. And this week, I'm not going to always read these live, but I feel like it's fun for the first few weeks. This week, okay, first of all, you all made me cry. I was reading some of these after last episode, and like some of them hadn't loaded, so I'm sorry. There's kind of like a delay, I think, on iTunes end because I didn't see new ones. And then all of a sudden I logged on and there was like 20 new ones. There was one that made me cry. I'm not even going to read it right now because truly, like, I already cried last week on the podcast, or 2 weeks ago. I'm just going to Saturn and Aries be a little bit more of my strong soldier for myself. Truly, your words mean so much to me. This week's winner is Chris Weinberg. Notepad always out during this pod. I love Maddie and this pod, live by the moon report, and has inspired my own moon journal journey. We love that. Also, cannot hype the Cosmic Boss program enough. Plug. I didn't realize I was doing a double plug here. I have gone through it multiple times and I'm always discovering new and important details. Thank you, Cosmic RX team, for all the insights and good vibes. All right, Kristen Weinberg, I'm coming. Slide in your DMs. I am literally obsessed because that's so cute. And yeah, another good reminder, Cosmic Boss, you get information and access to it for a lifetime. I just chatted with some Cosmic Bosses last week and they're just like, we'll pull up the information and either use it for a specific question, like what's going on right now. I need to go back to that module on launching or social media strategy or the fifth house, or they'll just kind of open it like an oracle and kind of see, oh my God, of course I just opened up to like the Sagittarius module. And that's exactly what I needed to help me remind me to, raise my rates right now. So anyway, okay, let's jump in and let's get into planetary planning. Let's get into the moon report. Again, if you are missing, if astrology isn't real, remember those are separate mini-sodes, sometimes regular sodes, a segment now. So those come out on Fridays, where we look at our wild pop culture moments and show how astrology is written all over it, written in the stars. Catch that cosmic tea on Fridays. So now we go into the moon report, and this is our emotional weather forecast. This is like, what do we need to know for the week ahead to understand like our inner landscape? So Monday and Tuesday, the moon is in Aquarius. This brings all the rebellious energy, all the rebellious vibes front and center. We're feeling future focused. We're feeling like, oh, what's the big picture? I would say on these days, let's make a thing this week. Let's embrace your inner weirdo. Let's make a date with your inner weirdo and get curious. Try something new. See where it takes you. Maybe connect with like-minded souls who are into that thing. That could be in person in your community. It could be online. Or just give yourself permission to do something outside of the box, right? And we're going to avoid, getting stuck in a fixed mindset and a stubborn mindset. And sometimes Aquarius energy can do that, but Aquarius energy is at its highest when it's visionary, when it's thinking about things on a broader, bigger perspective and level. Wednesday and Thursday, honey, the moon shifts into dreamy Pisces. This is my moon sign. So I'm always loving the imagination, the intuition. I want you to think about in these days, can I surrender to the flow? Can I have a little bit more trust in the universe? Can I prioritize rest as the most productive thing I can do? Can I follow those nudges to somewhere special? And maybe even make a little spiritual self-care for yourself on the calendar, a little sound bath, a little cozy nap, some creative journaling with like a candle burning and your favorite playlist on. Doesn't that sound yummy and scrumptious, diddly dumptious? Things to avoid on Pisces moon days, just like that escapism that's like not nourishing. And you know what it is, right? Doom scrolling, overindulging, like too much Netflix binging, just keeping your eyes out for that, keeping your third eye out for that. Friday and Saturday, the moon is in fiery Aries. Self-care tip, we are moving with that Aries energy. We are making big, bold moves. We are taking maybe some kind of action. We are being unapologetically yourself. And I would love to see you move your body. I would love to see myself move my body in a healthy, happy, passionate way. I always think about boxing classes with Aries energy. Maybe going for a hike, going for an amazing like hot girl power walk, just even like blasting your favorite hype playlist and dancing it the fuck out. Things to avoid on those days, like that kind of impulsive energy where you feel like you need to react and then respond to every single thing, whether it be a text message or a trigger. It's like sometimes just like sitting and holding the pose and just allowing it to wash over you is going to ultimately have things work out for the best in the long run. Finally, on Sunday, the moon moves into grounded, earthy Taurus. So we are feeling into the lushness, the pleasure, the comfort. We just left Taurus season right now. We're entering Gemini season. Spoiler alert for planetary planning. But we are coming back into maybe something we learned during Taurus season. Maybe it's our garden. Maybe it's a new, or evening routine. Maybe it's a spot in nature in our neighborhood or our backyard that we fell in love with, a favorite tree, if you will. Enjoy something, some slow pleasure. It's a Sunday. We shouldn't be rushing anywhere. You have a yummy feast or brunch, and treat yourself to a spa day, tend to the garden, literal or metaphorical, and then things to avoid, just being too stubborn, being too, again, resistant to something that has to change, or just too like hard on yourself. Like it's just like, again, treat yourself, luxury, everything else. Let's just be fluid with it. Okay, so shall we shift into planetary planning? I'm going to grab my coffee mug with the message, "It's official, you're awesome" on it. What's going out to all of you? Okay, planetary planning. The two major headlines. One, happy Gemini season, happy natal season, happy solar return to all of my Gemini babies, my mystic messengers, my cosmic connectors. I love you so much. You guys are my divine yappers. And this week, the sun moves into Gemini on May 20th, and we're all going to be feeling a little bit more curious, a little bit more chatty. For this whole next month, it's about asking questions, right? Connecting with people, exploring your local community, feeling buzzy, embracing your inner social butterfly, and just having fun, click clack clicking. Gemini energy is just such a hoot to me, and I just want to remind us that working with the seasons is so potent, so powerful. My new book, In the Cosmic Zone, is coming out. I'm so excited because I love the idea of working with it and with their charts, and it really goes into what each of these archetypal energies mean to me and how I think it applies to our growth journey of becoming our fullest, most brilliant, most beautiful, boldest self. And I love the idea of I've just been working with this book, literally living it season by season, and using it as the assignment for that chunk of time, for that month. And it's just crazy what happens when you really celebrate the season, live in tune with it, make it a thing. I even like dressing for the season. Okay, it's Gemini energy. How do I want to dress? Maybe try something new, be a little curious. Maybe wear blue to represent kind of that, buzzy communication energy, be more playful, more youthful, whatever it is. It's how can I do the things that really help me live in the embodiment of this astrological season? And during Gemini, we all want to explore, experiment, and definitely focus on those C's, right? The connection, curiosity, communication, click, clacking. So Gemini season is happening. We're super pumped. And this year, we're definitely going to want to stay extra in that space of curiosity. Love Gemini energy for what it offers in terms of staying forever young, staying youthful, because of that neuroplasticity that happens from asking questions, trying new things. I love one of my favorite Geminis, Charlotte Miller. shout out. She just, a few weeks ago was like, let's just go try out, let's go get a Chinese medicine consultation. And I'm like, thank you. Like, I love that. Like, it's just a Sunday and we're like, okay, let's go down to Chinatown. Brought the boys. We had so much fun. Whenever hanging out with the Gemini, I am trying something new. I am learning something new. I am seeing the world in a different way. And that is so important to us for our health, for our youthfulness, and for just being able to be adaptable, right, to the way life is. Because as we roll into this week, Saturn moves into Aries. So heads up, boom, boom, boom. This is a huge moment. Saturn is moving into Aries on May 24th, where it will hang out until September 1st. So we get a 3-month teaser, a 3-month little journey, like a 3-month visa, 90-day fiance, 90 days of hanging out with Saturn and Aries. What's going to be, our larger assignment as we move into 2026 for the next 3 years. So first of all, if you're a Saturn and Pisces baby, congrats. Like I said, you're wrapping up your Saturn return. I want everyone to look back to March 2023, March 7th, 2023. What was happening for you then? What was happening for you? That's when Saturn moved into Pisces. And, I just want to say, like, Saturn moving into Aries, if you're in your Saturn return, if you have a lot of Aries placements, don't be scared. I truly do think that Saturn, I love Saturn energy. I really do. It took me a while because your girl has a lot of issues with authority and she had a lot of issues with structure and discipline. But befriending Saturn and letting Saturn guide me and teach me and show me where I need to expand my capacity and my container and really tighten it up so I could actually hold all of these things that I want to call in and manifest in a way that feels really good and sustainable and energizing and life-giving to me has been one of my favorite journeys of my lifetime so far. And May 7th or March 7th, 2023, for anyone who doesn't know, but I had been trying to get pregnant, maybe for I talked about this in a separate podcast, a year or so. And I think I thought I was going to get pregnant with Jupiter in Pisces. The problems of being an astrologer, sometimes you're over analyzing the transits because my Pisces moon, Jupiter in Pisces did what actually happens a lot during Jupiter cycles, which is cracking you wide open and showing you things, maybe Jupiter, where you need to grow or new opportunities coming up, expanding the world for you in a lot of different ways, or just maybe even shining a light on things that are in that area of your chart you haven't looked at in a while or ever. So Jupiter and Pisces did not bring me my babies, and I was like, okay, get a little frustrated here because humans were impatient. We want everything to happen yesterday, but Saturn does teach us to trust in our timing, to know that good things take time. If you want things done really well, sometimes you have to wait, right? And I just want to take this moment before I go into Saturn and Aries to remind us that Saturn isn't punishment. Saturn is actually perseverance, it's patience, but it's also payoff, it's profits. It's literally, Saturn shows us you've been putting in the work. Okay, here it is. Your long-term investment. Here's some of the payoff. Here's some of the dividends of that. So during the day Saturn moved into Pisces, March 7th, 2023. I'm going to cry. I said I wasn't going to cry in this episode, but I was feeling a little weird. I wanted to get a massage. I was in London with my husband and I wanted to get this really cool this thing, a hammam spa. But the website was do not get this if you're pregnant. And my period had been really late, but it had been really late for a lot of reasons around that time. It just got a little off the cycle. And I just was you know what, I'm just going to take a pregnancy test just so I can know, but it's probably nothing. And I went down to a Boots. So anyone in the London knows the local pharmacy. Went to Boots, took a pregnancy test. Very just surprise of all surprises, best surprise of my lifetime. Crying. I said I wasn't going to cry in this episode, but that's when I found out I was pregnant with Jordy. And remember, it was a full moon in Virgo, exactly conjunct my sun, 17 degrees, and Saturn moving to Pisces. I was like, oh, okay, here it is. Here is the payoff, right? I had been doing just, so many things, from working on myself from the inside and out to prepare for motherhood, because I really wanted to be a mother that was really regulated, grounded, and just really in that place to be a great steward of this guide, of this life that I wanted to call in. So I just say this before we get into Saturn and Aries, because I want you all to just if you're in that place of fear right now, if you're in a Saturn return or you have a lot of Aries, I want you to just take a moment. I want you to shake that fear out of your head. I want you to take it off. I want you to throw it away, put it down the garbage disposal, compost it. It's that's not yours, okay? Don't let that creep up in there. Have we done that? Now we can move on. So again, I'm going to be hosting a separate workshop that's going to go into such a deep dive on this. But for today, what I really wanted to just go into is like high level points of what Saturn and Aries means for all of us. So first of all, I'm excited. I really am. I'm going to get into 5 cosmic art axes that we need for Saturn and Aries. But this next, 3 months, Saturn and Aries is going to bring a very important new energy. It's going to help you jump into and develop a new timeline. So, we all know the old ways that we've been living in, they're not here anymore, right? They're collapsing. Things are merging. Things are shifting. There are new paradigms being built. And I want you to think back on like what has been going on in your life, really even since 2023, that's been showing you the new path forward of who you are, who you're meant to be. What have you learned about yourself during the North Node in Pisces, right? That was July 2023 until this January. Those eclipses, the Aries eclipses have been showing us for some time of like there's something new. You are meant for something new. You are meant to go a new way. Maybe it's old relationships that weren't serving you that you were feeling called to leave, or leaving, certain careers or jobs, or starting things on your own, or just maybe moving to a new city. Like, have you, and again, I always say this to you, I'm addressing my cosmic baddies because we're always all feeling this. The whole collective is feeling it. But if you're here, if you're listening to this week after week, you are more probably, I'm guessing, energetically in tune, a little bit more sensitive, which means you are getting the download on this first. You are feeling this in a potent way, and the collective usually has to catch up on it, or they just don't really understand what they're feeling and they can get kind of conflicted. So I say this also because Saturn in Aries is calling you, yes, you, to be a leader in some area of your life. This Saturn in Aries is calling you to work with this energy intentionally and consciously, because you're probably going to help during the next 3 years guide someone or many people through this energy as well. So I want you to pay attention to the hits that you're getting. It's you, it's about you, it's not about you, it's you, and it's also so much more than that, okay? So when you think about that area of life, maybe it felt like you went through a quantum leap or just had a crazy portal of being picked up and dropped somewhere new during this North Node in Aries time. And even again, Jupiter was in Aries before that. So looking at like this Aries part of your chart, now with Saturn in Aries, it's about kind of putting the work in. And I mean that in a good way, like the good work that feels like, yes, I am noticing some changes, some results to what happened in that part of your chart. Okay. So, and this is going to be the teaser of it from May 24th until September 1st. And then we're going to dip back into Saturn and Pisces, and then we'll land here permanently in 2026. Let me get that exact date for you. Hold on. I'm yapping. So again, like I said, leadership is going to be everything I'm talking about. I want you to have that in the background, in the back of your mind. Like, I am going to be doing this Saturn and Aries journey, and it might ask you to focus on long-term goals, take a more disciplined approach to certain things. But again, you're doing it for yourself, and then in this timeline, you are going to be something's going to happen where you're probably going to realize like, oh, and now I'm meant to show someone else how to do it. Oh, I'm meant to take this information and teach it to another group of people. Okay. So, let's see. Oh my goodness, I can't. Let me see. Saturn in Aries 2026. But I'm just going to Google it. I had it pulled up in my ephemeris, but your girl. Okay. So Saturn will go back into Aries for its official journey, Feb 13th. Okay. Right before Valentine's Day. How I remember it. And then it'll go in through April 12th, and then it's going to go retrograde again. Okay. Saturn is outer planets. They move back and forth. Personally, and this is just my hot take as me, Maddie Murphy, astrologer, everyone's different. I really think about when Saturn moves into the sign for that first time, your Saturn return begins. Like, it's like, okay, yes, and I go back and forth, but you're going to feel it. If you have your Saturn in Aries, you're going to feel it in the end of this month. You're gonna be like, okay, yes. And for all of us, it's like we open up the book, we open up the assignment, we open up the syllabus, and we embark on the journey. Even if Saturn is going back and forth, it's like the new chapter has begun, and we can't go back. We can't put the cat back in the bag. Why does someone want to put a cat in a bag anyway? We'll never know. So I just want to help you connect the cosmic dots here, because Saturn is going to be showing us a lot about our sacred mission. It's going to be initiating a lot of new opportunities, new energy, and you're going to feel into like, where do I want to provide a structure to what my soul has learned over the past few years to bring me to a whole new level in your life? And that is definitely it. You're going to be really going to higher influences, higher frequencies, higher responsibilities. You're going to feel really elevated, and you're going to feel, I'm guarantee this, if you're watching this, you are going to feel something shifting in your life purpose. You are going to be asked to move into a territory you've never ventured into before. You're going to be asked to show up in a way in your life and be seen in the way you probably never have before. And I want you to think about, as you hear me talk about all this, what is the nudge you're feeling right now? Chances are intuitively, whatever you're tuning into is right, is correct. And Saturn is going to ask, okay, that thing that's starting to brew, what will it take to create this in my life? What will it take to create this and build and develop this in a way that feels good and nourishing and sustainable? Well, how am I being asked to invest in this part of myself right now in a whole new level to help this part of me, this Aries part of me, come out in a way that is really energizing and very significant. And of course, I don't want to discount Saturn can trigger us and bring us fears and doubts and bigger questions. And the whole landscape of the world right now is shifting so much. Of course, that all can happen. And we can feel a lot of anxiety under Saturn transits. But I invite you to, again, befriend Saturn and think about, okay, the more I take responsibility for myself, the more I show up for myself, the more I embrace, discipline as divine, as a devotional act to myself, chances are you will start to feel better because you're reminding yourself over and over again that I've got this. Right? I can handle this. I can handle myself. I can take care of myself, not in a way that's like overly, self-reliant, in a way that's not healthy, but in a way of like, I can really stand on my own 2 feet. Wherever life is going to throw at me, whether it's exciting, expansive, super energizing moments to drop into new opportunities that are wild and beyond, our other realm of possibility, or whether it's dealing with some challenges, hardship, or struggle. Either way, I'm equipped for this. I'm born for this, and I will alchemize whatever's thrown at me to come into deeper, more potent levels within myself, right? It's like all of us is having something. Aries very much connects us to our life force energy, and I want you to think about it as there's something dormant within you, in your divine DNA, in your like celestial cellular energy that is getting upgraded. Okay, honey, is something is getting us moving and grooving and wants us to get going and take moves on something probably pretty like bold and dramatic in our life that feels really new and different. So the first thing I want us to think about for this Cosmic RX is I want you to get really fucking clear on who you are. I want you to get really fucking clear on who you are. Like, it is really confusing. There's a lot of mental chaos, clutter out there about like, who am I here to be? Am I going on this path? Am I going on this path? You look around, you pick up the internet, or like social media account kind of can influence you of like, this is who you should be. This is how you should look. This is how you should work out. This is what you should do for life. This is how your relationship should look. Okay, that's fine for a little like inspiration, a little expander moment, but don't get lost in that sauce, honey. No, you came here with your unique cosmic blueprint that is as unique as your mother fucking fingerprint. And I don't want you wasting your whole life looking around you. Am I doing this right? My journey looks different than their journey. Is this, my timing looks different? Is this, do I even really like, sometimes we also think we want something. We don't even really want that. That's not even for us. So I'm going to encourage you to get clear on who you are, what you want, and commit. Saturn rewards focus and follow through. Personal plug again for astrology is these systems of self-actualization, of self-knowledge, of self-inquiry are going to be huge during Saturn and Aries, because it's very hard to get clear on who you are, what you want, and commit to them if you don't really know who you are, if you're not feeling validated in that, if you're not feeling really goddamn clear on that. So astrology, human design, Enneagram, whatever it is that helps you be like, all right, I've been feeling that whisper below the surface, but now someone else told it to me, read me for filth, and now I can just stop doubting my gifts and just start doing them and start bringing them out into the world. And again, Saturn rewards focus and follow through. So getting really clear on who you are, what you want, and committing to that is going to be the big one. That's like the golden number one for Saturn and Aries. Okay. Now, 2, I want you to think about what I said before, Cosmic RX, but I'm going to say it over and over again. Number 2, Saturn and Aries energy is You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. Good things take time. Good things take time to even not even like to be created, but even to like have the concept of creation, the concept of an idea. No, but for real, Aries wants to rush. Sometimes Saturn and Aries aren't always like the best of friends because Saturn likes things that take time. Saturn's like, that person that will wait for like the bespoke custom suit that takes months, and Aries is like, can I just have a suit right now? I'll just grab whatever one's around. I'm just gonna grab that one. But here's the thing: it's like that bespoke energy, that thing that's curated, that's created just for you, is gonna take extra time, but you're gonna have it for the long haul, and it's gonna fit you impeccably, and you're going to have that for a lifetime, right? Saturn is not fast fashion. Saturn is high fashion, is couture, is bespoke. Okay. And I want you to think about that, even back to my analogy with like or my story about Saturn moving to Pisces and discovering I'm pregnant, is like, I'm sure my children would be amazing and magical whenever I called them in. Personally, I feel like my Saturn journey helped me prepare for like, okay, not only are these the most perfect children ever, hashtag mom energy with like thinking that, but truly I feel like I am at not my most perfect self, never there, but I am at a version of myself where I'm really equipped to enjoy motherhood, to be present with motherhood, to be present with myself who I am outside of being a mother, right? Like all of these things. So the things that take time in life, if you trust the path, can be actually your biggest rewards, your biggest treasures, your biggest, like in investing in yourself. Investments take time, the good ones, right? So I want you to be patient, and like there's going to be an interesting happening Saturn Aries. We're going to feel some like burst forward, like a sprint out the gates, but then you might have to like do some work there that it takes a little bit more time to sink your teeth into, and just trust that. Okay, we're going to trust that process. Saturn is slow moving. Saturn wants dedication, focus, right? And this initiatory new energy is going to ask us to leap ahead. But then I said, like, really gather ourselves there, right? Gain that clarity, that self mastery, that take on that responsibility, kind of gain that muscle. And that Aries part of our charts. That kind of, takes us into step 3, is definitely learning to balance confidence with caution. So your impulses are super powerful now, but like I do want you to learn your system, and maybe you look back to Saturn and Pisces and what you learned about your intuition. Like, how do you trust what feels like it's an impulse that's coming from an intuition and a hot flash and a download of something divine, and what's an impulse, it's like a knee-jerk reaction that might not be as healthy, that might not be as serving you as much. Confidence, caution, this is going to be like a seesaw, a celestial seesaw during this time. And it's just something that has to be really gathered from within yourself, something that is going to be what do you learn about, like, your self-honoring? What have you learned about your intuition? What have you learned about how you take action that feels good to you? What have you learned about everything? What do you need in terms of rest? What do you need in terms of recharging? What do you need in terms of what do you need to follow yourself and to really trust yourself? And that is going to guide me into Cosmic RX number 4. So whenever Saturn moves in a sign, I'm just going to say it's about boundaries. Okay. Boundaries are going to be huge right now. But to make it a little bit more specific and tailored to Saturn and Aries, I want you to think about boundaries over your time and bandwidth. Okay. Like, we all want to do all the things, but we're only one person. And I want you to think about, prioritizing quality over quantity in your pursuits. Like, again, going back to number 1, who are you? What really lights you up? What are your values? What are the things that you really care about in life? And that will give you the biggest like energetic return on this investment we've referenced. Because, in order to live this new beginning, to live this higher self, you're going to have to free up time, energy, and your calendar for what this is. And so there's going to be things you're going to have to say no to or decline. And whether that's just for yourself, like with yourself, having better boundaries over your time and your commitments and your calendar, whether that is having boundaries with people around you in work relationships. This also might mean like these big shifts, like the boundary is so big that it's like realizing that this thing just isn't really meant for you anymore, whether that's retirement, stepping down, signing off, maybe a breakup, going in separate ways, sharing, your truth with others honestly and in a really candid way. Because again, this boundary of this prioritizing quality over quantity is going to ask us to probably take the scissors out or whatever we do editing with, an eraser, scissors, and do some fine tuning editing in of our life, because we can't do everything and do it well. We have to choose the things that are really ours and commit to them wholeheartedly. Okay. And for a lot of us, this is going to take us out of autopilot and ask us to get into the driver's seat of our lives. So Cosmic RX 5 for Saturn and Aries is I want you to enjoy the drive, but really be in that driver's seat. Think about going on a long trip, right? You have to prepare for it. You have to, put gas in the tank, make sure, the tires are filled with air, do everything you need, make a good playlist, get the snacks. But I also want you to trust the process. And I know it sounds cheesy, but enjoy the journey. We all know the best road trips are the ones where we allow the things to happen, the funny stories along the way, the things that are kind of challenging, seeing what they teach us about ourselves, and prepares us for the destination. Especially these next 3 months, you are going to be feeling wow, there's a new beginning happening, but you're not there yet. You're still in the journey. You're still on the path. So as you're being called to step into more personal courage, into self-leadership, knowing that it takes time to get there, how can you enjoy the road? How can you enjoy and soak up and be curious? Again, Gemini, about what am I learning here? What is this showing me? Is this an alignment that I really want? And trust that if something is happening on a slower path, or there's a reroute, just like I always say, trust the reroutes in life, trust the delays, trust the detours. The blocks can be the blessing. If something's just so slow that it's not happening at all, it wasn't meant for you. Or if it's slowing down, maybe you need more information before you made that decision so it could be in actual alignment with you. We know the world is changing in very, very big ways right now. And the astrology of 2025, if you came to my workshop on the whole year, you know that all of the astrology is showing us and guiding us to this new beginning. And we're all meant to step into someone new right now, because we are moving forward at unprecedented lightning speeds. There's no going back. There's no back to go back to. Okay. We're all pioneers of an energetic new place, of a new paradigm. Our ancestors and certain people pioneered new areas of the world geographically. We are pioneering new areas of thought, new ways of being, new ideologies, new form of society. So I want you to say thank you, Saturn. Thank you, Saturn, for showing me where I need to level up. Thank you, Leather Daddy Saturn. That spanking was delicious. One more, please. Yes, Leather Daddy Saturn. I am ready. I am ready to show up for myself. And I will talk about this more in the Saturn workshop. But the last visual I want to remind you of or leave you with in terms of working with Saturn is not here. If you are a seed and a flower and a plant that is constantly growing, Saturn is not here to be the combat boot stepping on that. Okay. Saturn is not here to limit your growth. Quite the opposite. I want you to think about yourself as the most beautiful, vine, trumpet plant, a mandevilla or a bougainvillea. It's Saturn is your trellis. Saturn is the structure that allows all of your vines to grow and expand and bloom, but with support so they could be healthy. If anyone's ever had a trellis plant that didn't have a proper trellis, it's very sad, it's limp, it's soggy, it's giving yikes. I want you to instead give strength and bloom and blossom in the ways that serve yourself, your families, your communities, and the collective. Okay, so there's so much more to say about Saturn and Aries, and it's going to be doing some very interesting things as it kicks off with Jupiter moving into Cancer, right? Also, that's going to happen in June. So I say all this because Jupiter in Cancer is going to ask us to feel into the process a lot. Does this feel good? Does this light me up? Do I care about this? And to kind of trust that flow energy of Cancer while we are in this fire energy of Aries. But these are both cardinal signs. So it's an initiatory energy. We are starting something. We are going head first in and heart first in right now. Okay. So you are ready. You've been preparing for this. You are so equipped for this time. You are so born on purpose for right now. And if it all feels like a lot, it's because it is. But don't worry, I'm here every step of the way. If you want to go deeper and you want to have more like interactive support, we have our Cosmic RX Plus community that you can join for live calls. We have Cosmic Boss. We'll be doing this workshop, but again, at the very least, you can catch me here week after week, yapping, spilling the cosmic tea, all in service of you stepping into alignment with your cosmic assignment. And that's where I'm going to leave you, my cosmic cuties. Just feel into all of this, trust the process. Of course, like I said before, leave a review, because again, especially if you want that little burning question reading, share this with somebody else who might be going through Saturn and Aries as well with you. If you're a Saturn return baby, if you are just someone who has a best friend with a lot of Aries in their chart, send them this. It's one of the best things that we can do in our lives, is reminding people it's not just you, it's the astrology, right? Like it's the stuff's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And I think understanding astrological cosmic context can help us not internalize things. So if you love someone, they have a lot of Aries, send them this. And if you're new, someone sent this to you, then know that person loves you. And thank you for following me on this wild ride and all of my ramblings. So that's where I'm really going to leave you. May your week be full of magic and just the right perfect dash of cosmic chaos. I am wrapping you in blessings for really yummy, nourishing, hot, fulfilling, toe curling, get yours sex, and those big, fat, lots of zeros attached to them, big, fat, juicy checks. Until next time. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.